music and all those type of things, just to immerse the viewer into that. So that was one of the reasons they really went really heavily with a lot of those smaller versions, and you'll see that in a lot of books if you're a big reader and get into the history of animation, where they started to kind of look into that idea of color styling. Below that, I have this is actually not a really production piece, it's a merchandising piece from Rick Brown. And I didn't bring it in, but there was, what he basically did with this piece, this was juxtaposed over top of some different computer backgrounds that they made. The one that I have has like the candles and I think the inside of the sanctuary of the church or whatnot. This is basically airbrush. And he actually did a lot of really big pieces. He did some of the big Roger Rabbit movie posters. When you start to get to those pieces, you start to get in about $4,000, $5,000, $6,000 range. So this one's nowhere even near that, but I don't have a lot of Hunchback stuff, and had an opportunity to pick that up about 2 years ago, and very well rendered. And I mean, I used to do airbrush myself, and I know he's very highly skilled. So he does a lot of other things too for Disney and some other corporations and so forth. So that's kind of why it's in my collection. And then we have, up here we have Return of Jafar. It's Aladdin. That's just a basic breakdown drawing. And there's basically 3 types of drawings. I don't know if this gets covered, but you have your extremes drawings, which will generally have a timing chart on it. We'll probably hit that somewhere. And then that was usually the head animator that would do that. Then you'd have the assistant animator, who was the guy who worked just below that animator and kind of worked really close with them, so they really got the feel of what the animator's going for. Because the main animator, or the head animator, his job was just to basically get the timing right, figure out where this arm's going and this arm's going over here, or whatever turn they're doing or whatever. And he wasn't concerned about how the feathers were and all the buttons on the shirt and all that stuff. They would hardly ever put that in. So the breakdown artist would kind of be the guy in between the 2 steps of the timing chart. And he might do 1 drawing, might be 2, 3, just depending on the length of the action. And so he would be somewhat like a quasi cleanup in-betweener type thing. And so that would be like a rough drawing like that. And then the next person down would usually just be the general in-betweener. And that would be kind of the person who's trying to become an animator, entry level, and they would do pretty much the tedious drawings in between. So if you had an action of like 1 to say 12, the main animator do 1 to 12, the breakdown guy might do 6, and then they got to do all the ones in between. So kind of like, again, like I said, I did a lot of that myself. It's kind of tedious, and just following the timing charts and things like that. But that's how you learn. Copy, keep drawing the same thing over and over again until you work on your skills. And then below that we have another merchandising. This lady, she does a lot of merchandising for Disney. She worked for Disney Studios for a while. Again, a very nice, clean drawings. Not really production oriented, but just really liked her work. So that's why that is in my collection. And then we have this one here from DreamWorks, Road to El Dorado. And again, this is not really a production piece, but the information that I could glean from it was that it was made to do limited edition sales. I have actually 2 other ones similar to this, and I honestly have never seen the limited edition sales, so I don't know if it just didn't happen, they shelved it or whatever, or they're out there somewhere and I don't know it, but that supposedly is one of the original drawings that they used to actually, I suppose, scan in, Xerox, and then hand paint